A rainy Kentucky night, where a lonely widow opens her heart and her door to a shaggy stray. Hey y'all, step into a story as sweet as Grandma's cobbler. Meet Evelyn Carter and Buddy, a German shepherd with a hero's soul, whose bond turns a small town upside down with love and courage. Ready for a tale that'll warm you like a porch swing sunset? Subscribe now and join our family. Don't miss a minute of this bluegrass magic. The wind howled through the quiet streets of Maple Grove, Kentucky, on a bitter November night, driving icy rain against the windows of Evelyn Carter's modest farmhouse. At 68, Evelyn had weathered more storms than most, decades of tending her garden, raising her family, and nursing a grief that clung like damp earth to her soul. Her hands, roughened by years of toil, cradled a mug of chamomile tea, a nightly ritual that steadied her since losing her husband, Henry, and son, David, in a tragic car crash 5 years prior. The old house creaked around her, its peeling paint and overgrown yard a mirror to her fading spirit, a once vibrant woman now known in town as the widow on Pine Lane. Then, a crash jolted her from her reverie, a sharp clatter from the barn out back, loud enough to pierce the storm's roar. Clutching her shawl, Evelyn hesitated, her heart thumping, before grabbing a flashlight and Henry's old Louisville slugger, curiosity outweighing caution as she stepped into the deluge. The beam cut through the darkness, landing on scattered feed sacks and a toppled barrel near the barn's sagging door. As she edged closer, two amber eyes glinted back from the shadows beneath the eaves, a German shepherd, his black and tan coat matted with mud and blood, ribs stark against his shivering frame. A jagged gash ran across his shoulder, raw and angry, but it was the exhaustion in those eyes that stopped Evelyn cold, not ferocity, but a quiet plea from a soul pushed to its brink. "Oh, you poor fella," she whispered, lowering the bat, her voice softening as the dog flinched, a low growl rumbling from his chest. Fear, not menace, stiffened his stance, and Evelyn saw her own reflection in that wariness, a heart battered but still beating. "I ain't gonna hurt you," she said, kneeling despite the ache in her knees, rain soaking her gray braid. Maple Grove was a tight-knit patch of bluegrass country, where rolling hills cradled tobacco barns and white fences, and folks gathered at Daisy's Diner to swap tales over biscuits and gravy. The Cumberland River wound nearby, a gentle ribbon most days, but prone to springtime tantrums that swelled its banks. Evelyn's farmhouse perched at the town's edge, its porch a perch for watching sunsets, though she rarely sat there anymore. Henry had built it with his hands, and David had grown up chasing fireflies across its yard, memories now locked in silence since that rainy night on Highway 62 when a truck veered into their pickup. The town had rallied then, casseroles piling up, but Evelyn's retreat into solitude eventually left her a figure of quiet pity, her apple cobbler a fading legend. The German shepherd's arrival stirred whispers that rippled through Maple Grove like a breeze through the oaks. He'd appeared weeks earlier, a hulking stray skulking along the outskirts, his limp and gaunt frame sparking rumors. Some said he'd raided chicken coops at the Miller place, others swore he was rabid. Kids were kept indoors, and animal control's traps sat empty, outsmarted by a creature too clever to be caught. Evelyn had heard the talk at the feed store, dismissing it as small-town fuss, until now. Face to face with the beast everyone feared. "You're no monster," she murmured, retreating to fetch a bowl of leftover pot roast and a towel. She set them near the barn's edge, stepping back to watch from a hay bale as rain drummed her shawl. After a tense wait, hunger won, his amber eyes locked on hers. he crept forward, gulping the food with a desperation that tugged at her heart. That night, Evelyn made a choice that would ripple through her life and beyond. She turned the screened porch into a refuge, blankets piled high, a tin of water, a soft glow from a lantern sheet hung. It took 2 more bowls of food, offered closer each time, before the dog limped after her, collapsing onto the makeshift bed with a sigh that echoed her own weariness. She shut the porch door gently, locking out the storm and the town's judgment. Come morning, sunlight revealed his wounds more clearly, a gash needing care no local vet would dare touch, not with Maple Grove's fear running hot. Guess it's you and me, huh, buddy, she said, naming him for the comfort he'd already begun to stir in her lonely days. She cleaned his shoulder with antiseptic from Henry's old kit. Her hands steady despite the task's enormity, whispering promises of safety she wasn't sure she could keep. Word spread fast. By noon, the doorbell chimed, and Evelyn faced Tom Bradley, the feed store owner, and Clara Hines from the town council, their faces tight with concern. Evelyn, folks say you've taken in that stray, Tom began, his burly frame filling the doorway. Is it true? She nodded, barring the entrance. He was starving, hurt bad. What was I supposed to do, let him rot? Clara's sharp voice cut in, he's dangerous, growled at kids by the school. Evelyn's jaw set. He's scared, not mean. You'd growl too if everyone chased you off. Tom's tone softened, a hint of pity in his eyes. I know it's been rough since Henry and David. But this ain't safe, for you or us. Anger flared in Evelyn, a spark she'd thought long extinguished. I've decided, Tom. Buddy stays, till he's healed. After that, we'll see. The visit ended with muttered warnings about ordinances and safety, but Evelyn stood firm, her 5 feet 3 inches frame a wall of resolve. Back on the porch, Buddy watched her, ears flat from the raised voices. A low rumble fading as she knelt to change his bandage. Don't mind, fella, she said, her voice a bomb. I'm too stubborn to let win. Over weeks, a rhythm bloomed, she tended his wounds. Fed him scraps turned feasts, talked to him of Henry's fishing tales and David's boyhood pranks. Buddy's coat regained its sheen, his limp eased, but trust came slower, he shied from loud knocks. Retreated when neighbors peeked over the fence. Yet with Evelyn, he softened, trailing her through the house, lying by her rocker at night, a guardian born of shared scars. One crisp afternoon, as Buddy sniffed the backyard off-leash, Tom appeared at the fence, eyes narrowing. Still got that beast, huh? He called. Buddy tensed, stepping between Evelyn and the gate. Hackles up, a growl rolling deep. Buddy, easy, she commanded, and he backed down, eyes still locked on Tom. See that? Tom snapped. One wrong move, and he's a killer. Evelyn's voice was calm. Steady. He's protecting me, Tom, there's a difference. Tom shook his head, stalking off. Some dogs are born trouble. Evelyn watched him go, unease prickling, his anger felt too sharp. Too personal. She couldn't know then how right her instincts were, or how Buddy's past would soon crash into their quiet refuge. The air buzzed with tension at the Maple Grove Community Center. A squat brick building usually reserved for potlucks and bingo nights. Tonight, folding chairs lined the floor, every one filled with townsfolk clutching coffee cups and muttering under their breath. Evelyn sat in the front row, her spine stiff despite the whispers swirling like flies, rumors of Buddy's snarls, imagined threats ballooned into tales of terror. It was a month since she'd taken him in. And the council had called an emergency meeting, its sole agenda scrawled on a chalkboard, the stray situation on Pine Lane. She'd left Buddy at home, knowing his presence would ignite the room. But his absence didn't soften the glare of Clara Hines, who tapped the mic with a sharp ping. "We're here about a safety crisis," Clara began, peering over her glasses. 4 weeks. Evelyn Carter's harbored a feral German shepherd. Multiple witnesses call dangerous. Despite warnings, she won't surrender it. Evelyn felt eyes boring into her, a mix of pity and scorn from folks she'd known since they were knee-high. Clara listed incidents: Buddy chasing a squirrel near kids, growling at a mailman, each stretched beyond truth into fear-fueled fiction. Tom Bradley rose, his voice booming with ex-cop authority. "I've known Evelyn 30 years, she's good people, but loss messes with your head. This dog's no pet, it's a loaded gun." He waved a petition, ink still fresh with 45 signatures, nearly half the town. "We demand Ordinance 12C, remove threats to public safety." Murmurs swelled into nods, and Evelyn's heart sank, the weight of betrayal pressing her into the chair. "May I speak?" she said. Rising slow, her voice cutting through the din like a Kentucky breeze. At 68, she was small, but her resolve filled the room. "I've lived here all my life," she started, her pale blue eyes sweeping the crowd. "You knew Henry, danced at David's wedding. When I lost them, you brought me soup, held my hand. Now I'm asking you to trust me. Buddy was half dead when I found him, starving. Hurt. Yes, he's wary of strangers, but he's never bitten a soul. He's healing, and so am I." Tom scoffed, "Healing? It's a dog, Evelyn, not your therapist." She met his glare. "Dogs feel pain, fear, just like us. Whatever happened to him left scars you can't see. He's no menace, he's a survivor." Old man Joe Tucker, who rarely piped up, rasped, "Saw her walking him yesterday, stuck to her side like glue. Didn't bother my chickens." But Linda Hayes, the school librarian, shot back, "What if a kid runs up? We can't risk it." Voices clashed, tempers flaring. Neighbors Evelyn had swapped recipes with now demanded Buddy's exile. Mayor Ellis, a soft-spoken widower, finally raised a hand. "Safety's first, but so's heart. Let's compromise. Evelyn keeps him with rules, tall fence, muzzle outside, insurance. A trainer say so." Tom bristled, "That's too soft. This ain't about rules, it's about danger." His edge turned heads, it felt personal, beyond reason. Evelyn scanned the room, few met her gaze. Their fear drowning the kindness she'd once counted on. The vote leaned heavy against her, a town she loved slipping into strangers' faces. Next morning, a county truck rolled up. And Officer Dan Miller stepped out, clipboard in hand, his gray eyes apologetic. "Evelyn, you know why I'm here," he said, tipping his hat. She nodded, resigned. "Come in, but Buddy don't like uniforms." A growl rumbled from the porch as Buddy eyed Dan, hackles up. "Easy, boy," Evelyn soothed, and he settled, watching Dan with a stare that could peel paint. "Quite a fella," Dan said. Hand near his tranq gun but steady. "He's good, just been through hell," she replied, leading Dan to the living room. "Buddy, stay." He obeyed, lying vigilant as Dan laid it out. "Counsel says he's a risk, 10-day hold." Then he trailed off, but Evelyn knew euthanasia loomed. "He's protective, not mean," she insisted. Dan sighed. "I see that. He's no wild beast. Been at this 30 years. I know a scarred soul when I see one. But the law's the law." Hope flickered. "What if I prove he's safe, get a pro to vouch?" Dan rubbed his chin. "Might stall it, but they're set. I gotta take him today, unless..." He paused, softening. "I'm swamped. Might not swing back till tomorrow." Gratitude warmed Evelyn's chest. "Thank you, Dan." As he left, he glanced at Buddy. Still statue still. That's no stray's discipline. Someone trained him good. Alone, Evelyn knelt by Buddy, fingers in his fur. "One day, boy, we'll figure this out." That night, she barely slept, scouring the internet on David's old laptop, search and rescue dogs, German shepherds, anything to unlock Buddy's past. By dawn, she filmed him, sit, stay, come, flawless every time. Then, a hunch, Buddy, search. His shift was instant, alert, nose down, quartering the yard like a pro. Find. He sniffed the air, methodical, precise. "Help," she cried, and he raced to her, nosing her chest, checking her breath, a guardian's instinct honed sharp. "My God," she breathed, "you're no stray, you're a hero." The revelation lit a fire. Buddy wasn't just a pet. He'd been trained for purpose, abandoned for reasons she couldn't fathom. She called rescue groups across Kentucky, describing his skills, but hit dead ends, until Joe Tucker mentioned the Grayson County floods 2 years back. Teams came from everywhere, dogs, handlers, chaos. Some didn't make it. A call to the emergency office connected her to Lisa Grant, a coordinator. "We had K-9 units," Lisa confirmed. One German shepherd, Titan, went missing, presumed drowned saving a hiker. Handler was Tom Bradley. Evelyn's breath caught. Tom, her neighbor, the man spearheading Buddy's doom, had been his partner. Why hide it? Why push to erase him? The truth simmered, dark and close, as Buddy slept by her rocker, a storm brewing beyond the rain. 2 days later, a blue SUV rolled up, Rachel Evans, David's widow, and little Sophie, 6, with blonde curls and David's dimples. "Evelyn, we need to talk," Rachel said, hesitant. 8 months since their last stiff Christmas, and now here they were. Sophie clutching Rachel's hand. "Hi, Nana," she chirped, melting Evelyn's heart. Inside, coffee brewed as Rachel explained, "I got a job at Grayson Hospital, long shifts. Sophie needs care this summer. I thought, maybe you?" Evelyn's eyes welled, years of distance, now a bridge. "I'd love it, but there's Buddy. Some folks think he's trouble. I believe he's a rescue dog, though." Sophie peeked out back, where Buddy lounged. "He looks lonely," she said. Rachel softened. "If he's safe, separate, till we're sure, I trust you with her." A fragile truce bloomed, rooted in a child's quiet wisdom. Spring rains hammered Maple Grove, turning the Cumberland River's tributary, a creek threading Evelyn's land, into a churning beast. 3 days of downpour swelled its banks. News warning of floods as Evelyn moved photo albums upstairs, her hip groaning with each step. Sophie, 3 weeks into her stay, pressed her nose to the kitchen window, blonde curls framing her awe. "It's so big, Nana," she marveled, rain pelting the glass. "That's why we're inside today," Evelyn said, setting oatmeal on the table. "That creek's no place to play now." Sophie nodded. "Solemn. I promise." Evelyn trusted her. Sophie's care with rules had woven a sweet rhythm into their days. Crafts, cookies, and Buddy's gentle shadow, kept apart but watching through the porch screen with curious eyes. After breakfast, Evelyn tackled bills, her checkbook spread across the table as Sophie colored in the living room. Buddy sprawled nearby. Rain drummed a soothing beat, and Evelyn glanced up now and then, smiling at Sophie's chatter to her crayons. Then silence fell, too sudden, too deep. "Sophie," she called, rising. The living room was empty, coloring book abandoned, Buddy gone. Her heart lurched as she checked rooms, voice rising. "Sophie, where are you?" The porch door hung ajar, rain pooling on the floor. Evelyn rushed out, slippers soaking, eyes darting. Sophie's yellow raincoat snagged on the gate to the creek path. Unlatched and swinging. "No," she gasped, dread clawing her chest. Had Sophie's wonder pulled her to the water, Buddy trailing her? She stumbled down the muddy slope, calling. "Sophie." Rain blurred her vision, the creek a roaring monster ahead, 15 feet wide, trees half submerged, debris racing past. A bark pierced the din, Buddy, downstream. Frantic on the far bank, Sophie beside him in her red sweater, stranded as the water rose. "Stay there, baby!" Evelyn yelled, voice lost to the torrent. Relief, she was alive, twisted into panic. The creek had surged, cutting them off. Turning to fetch her phone, Evelyn slipped, pain searing her hip as she hit the ground. Gasping, she clawed up with a branch, hobbling back to dial 911. "My granddaughter's trapped across the creek, it's flooding, hurry," she pleaded. "Help's coming," the dispatcher said, "but we're stretched thin, keep her in sight." Grabbing a raincoat, Evelyn limped back, flashlight trembling as dusk thickened. A chain snap echoed, Buddy's leash, broken free from its post, gouges marking his escape. Fear spiked, he'd sensed Sophie's peril. At the creek, water lapped higher, and Sophie clung to a fallen log bridging the torrent, Buddy barking beside her. Then her grip faltered, she plunged in, red sweater vanishing. Buddy leapt, swimming fierce against the current, pushing her up as they drifted downstream. Evelyn staggered along, shouting, "Hold on." Buddy angled for a shallow eddy, dragging Sophie to a muddy islet. Collapsing beside her, blood seeping from his shoulder, a reopened wound from a jagged snag. "Help!" Evelyn screamed, voice raw. Headlights flared, Tom Bradley's truck, him sprinting down. "Evelyn, rescue's close, I heard the call." His eyes locked on Sophie and Buddy, face paling. "That's my granddaughter," she wept. "Buddy saved her, she's not moving." Tom froze. Then shed his coat, wading in as Buddy growled, then whined, recognizing his voice. "She's breathing," Tom yelled, lifting Sophie. But Buddy's bleeding out, arteries hit. Evelyn's heart tore. "Save her first." Tom crossed back, Sophie limp in his arms, medics rushing her to the ambulance. Buddy lay still, water rising, and Evelyn sobbed, "Not him too." Rescuers pulled Buddy ashore. Frail but alive, his pulse faint. "He's a rescue dog, state law says treat him," Tom barked, flashing an old ID, Tom Bradley, Bluegrass Search Rescue. Vets stabilized him as Sophie woke in the hospital. Whispering, "Where's Buddy?" 3 hours later, Tom faced Evelyn over coffee, guilt spilling. "He's Titan, my partner. 2 years ago, floods took a kid I couldn't save." Titan signaled. I ignored. He was right. I left him at a rest stop, ashamed. When he showed up here, I panicked, pushed to end him. Evelyn's anger softened to sorrow. "He saved Sophie today, proved you wrong." Tom nodded, broken. "I'll pay his bills, make it right." Buddy healed, Sophie recovered, and Maple Grove transformed. Tom's land became a rescue center, Buddy its star. On a golden September day, Evelyn watched them train, Sophie's laughter ringing. "He's the best, Nana," she said. "He's home," Evelyn agreed, their unlikely family, widow, child, redeemed man, and noble dog, woven by love's quiet courage. Evelyn Carter's journey in Maple Grove shines a light as bright as a Kentucky moon. Compassion can heal what fear breaks. It's a reminder that in our hustle, a widow's kindness and a dog's loyalty can mend shattered hearts, hers. A little girl's, a town's. Buddy didn't just save Sophie, he showed us second chances aren't just possible, they're precious. It's the everyday heroism we all carry, choosing love over judgment, trust over doubt. His story proves that when we shelter the lost, we find ourselves again. So, folks, when's a time kindness turned your world around? Share it below, I'd love to hear. If Evelyn and Buddy touched your soul, hit that like, spread this Kentucky glow, and let's keep the warmth alive. What's next for them? Stay tuned.